everyone, and welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Sophie, and this is my YouTube channel. I sadly have a really bad hearing loss, so I'm sorry if I sometimes speak too weird, too loud, or too quietly. But I hope you will find this video interesting anyways. All crime videos are made for educational purposes only. And today we're going to talk about Charles Albright, alias the Eyeball Killer. He was a serial killer who killed at least 3 women in the 1990s. He was only convicted of one of the murders, and some suspects think that he was wrongly convicted. So what do you think? Charles Albright was born on August 10, 1933 in Dallas, Texas. He was adopted by Dell and Fred Albright from an orphan's home. His mother, a school teacher, was very strict and overprotective of Charles. She accelerated his education, helping him to skip 2 grades. His criminal career started early. At age 13, he was already a petty thief and was arrested for aggravated assault. At age 15, he graduated from high school and forged his way into North Texas University. At age 16, the police caught him with some petty cash from a cash register, 2 handguns and a rifle. He spent a year in jail. After his release, he attended Arkansas State Teachers College and majored in pre-med studies. Found with stolen items, he was expelled from the college before graduation. He then married his college girlfriend and they had a daughter. Charles' wife was a teacher, but he failed to hold the job for long. He continued to cheat by forging checks and claiming false credentials, and he was caught in his deception while teaching at a high school. He somehow always managed to get probation for his illegal actions. In 1965, he and his wife separated and finally divorced in 1974. Albright was caught stealing hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise from a hardware store and received a 2-year prison sentence. Yet, he served less than 6 months before he was out again. In 1981, Albright's mother sadly died. While he was visiting some friends, he sexually molested their 9-year-old daughter. They reported him and he was prosecuted. He pled guilty and received only probation once again. He later claimed, though, that he was innocent. In 1985, Albright met a woman named Dixie in Arkansas. He invited her to come live with him, and it wasn't long before she was paying his bills and supporting him. The first victim attributed to the Eyeball Killer. Her name was Mary Pratt, and she was shot and killed on December 13, 1990. When the body was autopsied, the coroner made an even more startling discovery. The eyes had been skillfully removed from their sockets. The mutilation was kept out of the media, and the case went cold. The following year, on February 10th, another victim, Susan Peterson, was found dead and mutilated the same way. The media first dubbed the killer the Dallas Ripper. Even though law enforcement increased patrols in the area where the killer was active, a 3rd victim, named Shirley Williams, was found on March 18. Once again, the killer had removed the eyes, but there were some differences from the 2 previous murders. Williams had facial bruises and a broken nose as though she had been punched. Also, the eyes hadn't been removed with the same precision as the previous victims. The face was slashed and the tip of an X-Acto knife was found in the eye socket. A ballistic comparison of the bullets found in the body were matched to the ones found in Mary Pratt's, indicating that the same weapon had been used to kill both. Also, a pubic hair from a Caucasian male was found on Williams' body. Albright first came to the police's attention when a woman tipped the police off about him, saying that he and Pratt had been acquainted and that he was known to have an obsession with knives and eyes. When the number of prostitutes reported that he had assaulted them, it was enough for the police to get a search warrant for Albright's home. In addition to an S&V 44 Magnum revolver and several X-Acto knives, they also found a red condom, the same color of a condom found on Shirley Williams' crime scene. They also found some books about serial killers and Nazis. And according to one source, several dolls whose eyes had been removed. Though Albright's wife, who up until then had been unaware of her husband's criminal past, claimed he had been home every night, but he was still arrested. Unfortunately, the gun found in his house turned out not to be a match to the one the eyeball killer used in the killings of Pratt and Williams, nor did the investigators find any bloody clothes, though they did find socks and underwear soaking in bleach. Additionally, Albright's wife provided garage receipts proving that the car had been unavailable during the first two murders. On Albright's blankets and inside his vacuum, they found hair and fibers that could link him to the murders. In the vacuum, there were hairs that were consistent with those of Shirley Williams, though there weren't enough to perform a DNA analysis with the technology of the time. When samples of Albright's own hair were taken, they were matched to the hair found on Williams' body, though the sample couldn't be used to link to it uniquely. Albright was charged with the 3 eyeball killer murders as well as an unsolved 1988 murder of Rhonda Bowie, a prostitute who was stabbed to death, though her eyes hadn't been removed like those of the previous victims. On December the 2nd, 1991, the trial began. As it went on, the prosecution's case began falling apart. A yellow raincoat that Shirley Williams had been wearing when she was killed had been thrown away from evidence, though the jury had seen it. A prostitute who earlier had claimed that Albright attacked her withdrew her story, claiming she had been coerced by the police to make it up, and Albright's neighbors supported the claim that his car had been unavailable. The case came to rely heavily on the hair evidence, which linked Albright to 3 murders. Though the same evidence also linked him to the murder of Rhonda Bowie, he was cleared of it since he had an alibi for it. Ultimately, Albright was convicted of killing Shirley Williams and was sentenced to life in prison. His defense tried to appeal, citing a lack of evidence, but it was overruled. Albright is currently being held at the Texas Department of Corrections in Amarillo and, according to official sources, still has a fascination with the human eye and takes great interest in news stories in which eyes have been cut out. Whether or not he was actually the real eyeball killer and was responsible for all 3 murders, or even just that for which he was convicted, is uncertain. So what do you think? Is Charles Albright guilty or innocent? Is he the real eyeball killer or just a man with a fascination for eyeballs? Comment down below. I hope you enjoyed listening to this case and see you soon in the next one.